Hey friends, today I'm going to be talking about my 1 to 3 month postpartum update. Pretty much a bunch of stuff. So this is going to be a pretty long video because I want to go over so much, like how I healed from having my C-section to just random stuff on like my weight loss, a little bit on sex, birth control, and just pretty much a bunch of stuff. Oh, baby blues too. So I want to go ahead and start out with healing from a C-section and my whole stay at the hospital. So I stayed at the hospital for 5 days because of a C-section. It takes longer for you to get out of the hospital with a C-section. I remember the first day after having a C-section, I still had the catheter on me and I couldn't get up. I was pretty much bedridden. So anytime Liam cried, Justin would have to carry him and bring him over to me so that I could nurse him. And I remember the pain of the C-section was so intense that I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do anything like for the first day, and like no amount of pain meds could help that pain go away. Like it was quite painful. Like I couldn't even get out of bed myself. I couldn't use the restroom. It was kind of really sad. And then I also, on top of the C-section pain, when I'm nursing, my stomach, my uterus starts to contract, and it'll shrink it back to its shape and like pretty much shrink it back. And I remember it, like the uterus pain hurts so bad. It feels like really bad menstrual cramps, kind of like contraction pains when you're giving birth and in labor. It's very similar to that pain. So at the same time with the C-section pain, I was getting that uterus pain as well. After the first day, the nurses told me that I had to get up and start walking. I was like, what? It's just been only 1 day after having my C-section. Are you kidding me? It was 24 hours. They took my catheter out and they took off the thing that was massaging my legs because my legs and my feet were incredibly swollen. And they made me get up, and the nurse helped me use the restroom for the first time. And I didn't realize that I was bleeding. And I was like, whoa, why am I bleeding so much? I thought that women who just had vaginal births bleed, but I was bleeding a lot. So I wore like this massive pad, and they gave me like these mesh panties. They were really comfortable though, I'm not gonna lie. Like those mesh panties were comfy. And then they, on top of, inside the mesh panties was like this huge pad that covered my front all the way to the back. So after the 24 hours and using the restroom for the first time, I started to take walks. I was pushing my baby's, his crib that rolls, and I was just pushing it around the labor and delivery ward, and they were asking me to do that multiple times a day. I would only do it like morning and then night. I wasn't gonna do it like 3 times just because of the pain. I mean, the first day was very painful. And after giving birth, like my stomach looked like it looked like I was still 6 months pregnant, even though I just gave birth to a baby. I was just really heavy and swollen everywhere. My face was still swollen, everything, my feet, my legs, definitely. I was swollen all over, and especially in the stomach. Like my stomach was so saggy and like jiggly that they gave me a compression belt, and the compression belt kind of held the jiggle. But at the same time, that compression belt was amazing because it made my stomach feel less painful, like where I got the C-section cut. And it also made it feel like I could stand, and like it made it feel as though it was easier for me to walk for some reason. It was also good back support, so I really liked that. And I kept using that for weeks upon weeks until it got so until my stomach shrank a little bit, that it got so big. And then I ended up buying a belly bandit, and then I started using that. And then that shrank, so I started using the belly bandit BFF. Around the 3rd day in the hospital, I got to take my first shower, and it was like amazing because I didn't get to shower all those days before that. And it felt so good because I didn't even need the nurse to help me shower. I decided to just do it on my own. I had the door open so that Justin, my husband, could see me and make sure that I was okay in case I fell or anything. But there was a bar there, so like I could hold on, but I felt confident enough to be standing. It's just I was slightly hunched like this. And the hunch, I think I was hunching because I didn't want to be standing completely, because It takes, I didn't know this, but it takes, like, you use your abs for everything. To get out of bed was so difficult. To turn to the left, to turn to the right in bed was really painful as well. Having a C-section was probably the most painful thing I have ever experienced. I've never been through any other surgery aside from getting my tonsils removed and then the C-section. So it was the most painful experience, but at the same time I was my happiest because I waited later in my life to have a baby. I was like, around the time I got married is when I really wanted to have a baby, but my husband and I decided to wait because he was still working on his MBA, that it wasn't really a good idea for him to be like working on his MBA and me being pregnant and all of that. So we waited a couple more years until I was 28, and then I gave birth to Liam when I was 29. So to me, like, it was the most painful experience, but at the same time, the happiest. On the 5th day of my hospital stay, they removed the staples on my C-section, and I went and looked, and the incision was quite large. My mom had a C-section for my brother and sister, and her C-section was like tiny, but mine was really large. I don't really plan to show you guys simply because it's really close to my bikini line. I just don't feel comfortable sharing that. I hope you guys respect that and understand. On the 5th day, when Liam got checked by a doctor and I got checked by my doctor, we were released and we got to go home, and I just broke down. I got so emotional. Like, I just had so much emotions. Like, I was so happy to have Liam, and then I was in pain, and I was just like groggy from the meds. I was still slurring with my words. Like, I didn't sound normal. Like, I was talking slower than usual because I'm a fast talker, and I was watching like the old vlogs of myself, and I'm like, wow, I was talking really slow and really weird. So the meds definitely made me really loopy. So when I went home, I was prescribed some medication. Let me actually read what they prescribed me. I got nabumetone, and I also have hydrocodone. So I think the hydrocodone one is the one that's really strong, and I actually avoided using that after like the first week just because I knew it was affecting Liam. And when I went to Liam's first doctor appointment, she even said, like, the doctor said that your pain meds for your C-section could affect Liam, so you might want to like not take it as often and only take it when you need to. So that's pretty much what I did. I rarely took it, but there were certain days when I really had to. But I took the nabumetone one, which is like a stronger version of what's it called, Tylenol or something. It's not as strong as a hydrocodone, so, or codon. I was really stubborn about it, but I didn't want to take the meds because I just didn't want to affect Liam in any way, you know. After a couple of days of being home, I got really emotional. It was just so much going on. Like, it was the shock of getting a C-section because I didn't plan on it. For some reason, I'm like so optimistic about things. I didn't think that anything would happen. Like, I didn't think there would be a surprise C-section. I feel so stupid now that I didn't do my research, but yeah, I ended up getting the baby blues for one day. I just started crying out of nowhere. Like random times of the day, I would just start crying, and I would tell my husband how I felt. And I think that's why I got over my baby blues in one day, because like I was telling my husband everything I was feeling. Like the stuff that I was feeling and experiencing, I was telling him there's nothing that could alleviate the pain. Even the pain meds wasn't helping. When I was getting out of bed, I felt helpless. I felt like I couldn't even take care of my child because of my C-section pain. My husband had to change Liam's diaper most of the time when I was healing because I couldn't get out of bed. It was so hard, and my husband had to bring him to me. And I just feel like I want to take care of him so bad, but at the same time, I can't even do basic things like get out of bed. Like, my husband would have to help me get out of bed. I dreaded using the restroom. There was just so much going on. I was sad because Liam lost 10% of his body weight because I wasn't developing enough of my breast milk. It didn't come in, so he lost 10% of his weight. I was freaking out. You know, there was just so many things that was just running in my head. The pain, the shock, and a lot has to do with probably all the meds that I was taking. They gave me I was put under to get my C-section, and then I had the hydrocodone, and it was just so much going on. But thankfully, I didn't suffer from any postpartum depression. It was just a day. But if you guys if you guys do, definitely get help, because I can totally understand, and I can commiserate, because I thought that I was going through some things too. But after that, it just helps to tell someone how you feel, or talk to someone who has had a baby, to kind of figure out like how your emotions are and how you feel about it. So pretty much after 2 weeks, I decided no more pain meds at all, not even when I hurt or anything. And after 2 weeks, I was okay. I got out of bed myself, and I was able to clean the house. As far as breastfeeding, it never hurt me. I think it's because I took a nursing class during my pregnancy, and I learned so much about like how to feed and how to get a proper latch. And then also, after I gave birth to Liam, there was a lactation consultant that visited me in the hospital, and she watched me nurse Liam, and she said that he had a good latch. As far as weight loss, when I was pregnant at 40 weeks, I was 148 pounds, and I'm 5'1". And then right now I weigh 118 pounds, so I lost 30 pounds. But the first 2 weeks, I already lost 20 pounds. And the reason why is because most of the weight was Liam and liquids. Like, oh my goodness, like the doctor told me that they had to empty out 2 canisters full of liquids, and usually they say that they empty only like 1 canister. So like I had double the amount of fluids in me for some reason. Before my pregnancy, I was 113 pounds, and now that I'm 118, I'm only 5 pounds away from my pre-pregnancy weight. But I gotta tell you, for someone who's 5'1", 5 pounds looks a lot more than 5 pounds on me. Like, I look at my old videos where I was 113 pounds, and I'm not even close to that, even though I'm 5 pounds away. I'm like, what the heck? Like, the pounds are definitely just distributed in different places. Like, it all went to my stomach. My arms are still big. My legs are still big. I definitely have hips. Like, before pregnancy, I had no hips. Like, I had no shape. So now I have hips. And honestly, I don't really care to lose all the weight. Like, I don't know, but I feel good about it. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm also nursing, and I did read that you have to have, a couple of pounds on you to nurse your baby. So I'm not in any hurry. As far as working out, I haven't really worked out. I take walks regularly, sometimes at least maybe twice a week or even more, and they're usually over an hour. So at 4 weeks, I went ahead and saw my doctor who actually gave birth to my baby. You guys have no idea. I feel so lucky to have had that doctor. He was just an incredible doctor. When I went to my 4-week update, my doctor checked me vaginally, and he actually said that I could start having sex at 4 weeks. And then he and I talked about birth control, and my doctor told me I was gonna get the shot, but my doctor kind of talked me out of it, because he's all like, if you get the shot and you have some kind of depression or reaction to it, it's gonna be in your system for 3 months, and you can't get rid of that. So I was scared. I was like, I don't want it to be in my system for 3 months. So I decided to take the mini pill. He says the mini pill is probably the best way to go, just because, you can stop taking it if something happens, or if it interferes, or if it causes depression, or if it does anything, weight gain and stuff like that. So I decided to just get prescribed the mini pill, and I was hesitant to take that simply because other pills I have been affected by. And before I got pregnant, I had the copper IUD as my birth control, and that didn't work out. I could feel it when Justin and I were together, and also he could feel it too. It just caused so much problems. The copper IUD made me have really, really strong periods. I would have periods for more than a week, and they were really not strong, heavy is what I meant. Like, my periods were so heavy with the copper IUD. And the reason why I asked for the copper IUD inserted was because I wanted something that had no hormones, and the copper IUD is just straight up copper. It just prevents you from getting pregnant for some reason with no hormones in it. There's the Mirena that has hormones in it. And the Mirena is actually more flexible and floppy as opposed to the copper IUD. The copper IUD is really strong, and just it won't flex or bend or anything like that. So I ended up getting that removed before I got pregnant, and then we ended up taking birth control pills before we got pregnant, and then we got off the pill, and then that's how we got pregnant. So I don't know, sometimes I just don't like certain pills because they cause a lot of water retention, and they also they also make me gain weight, and I just didn't want to gain extra weight. But the thing about birth control pills is they made my boobs big, so a lot of people would say stuff like, oh, did you get implants? No, it's just birth control pills. So now with the mini pills, it doesn't interfere with breastfeeding. He says that, it's the pill that will allow me to still breastfeed, because I was asking my doctor for orthotricycline, and he's like, you actually can't take that because it'll affect your breast milk supply, so I have to give you this one. So it's called like the mini pill. I don't really know the specific name. With my doctor, he told me that I could start having sex, but to kind of take it slow and to see how things are, because even with a C-section, honestly, sex was not really the biggest priority at 4 weeks, because Liam was 4 weeks. We still didn't really sleep that well. Like, seriously, who has time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I pretty much decided that I would like to wait longer than 4 weeks, because 4 weeks wasn't that long enough. It's been about 14 weeks since I gave birth to Liam. He's 3 months old now, and let me tell you, he's sleeping quite well, so I'm really happy about that. So now I'm getting a lot of great sleep. He actually started sleeping throughout the night, like for 9 hours when he was 7 weeks. And then when he hit like 13 weeks, he started waking up at least once in the middle of the night. But once is still pretty good. Like, it's fantastic, so I'm not going to complain. I still think that's great. So overall, I've been sleeping pretty well since 7 weeks of having a baby, and I still don't carry heavy things. The heaviest thing I carry is Liam, and he's close to 15 pounds at 3 months. I haven't started working out yet, but I do plan to go running with Liam. I'm going to go buy like one of those running strollers and go running with my husband soon. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed my postpartum update. I have no idea what I was supposed to share, simply because this is my first time. I do want to do a video all about breastfeeding, because I just think it's really important, and I have had such an amazing experience breastfeeding, and I think it's because of all the lactation classes. It's really strange, because even at 3 months, I still feel pain where I got the cut. Like, not like intense pain, but I still feel it sometimes. And there are certain days where like maybe I'm doing too much, or like bent over a certain way, but I feel it, and I don't know if I should get that checked or not, but it's not that bad of a pain, so I'm thinking maybe not. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience from giving birth to all the way till now, and I feel great. Like, I feel fantastic. I love being a mother. That is like my absolute passion and joy, which is why I talk about a lot of mommy topics now on this channel, because I have grown with this channel, and this is more like a lifestyle, because I do a lot of beauty still, a lot of beauty talk, but I still like to talk about other things like postpartum updates, my baby, and all that. So thank you, friends, so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope you guys subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. My handsome little boy. Hi, I'm April. I'm a new mom, and I'm loving every minute with my baby boy. But let's be honest, motherhood is extremely exhausting.